All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. For this one, you guys have really given us something pretty unique to dig into.
Yeah, some fascinating source material this time.
We've got poems written by children, and, it's all about the absence of dragons.
Hmm. 10 years since D3's escape. I mean, it's been a pretty big shift, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A decade without dragons. It's really the only world this generation knows. And these poems really give you a look into uh, well, I mean, they give you a direct perspective on what that's like,
Yeah.
to grow up after such a huge global event.
Right.
So we've got this PDF, Real Dragons Missing for 10 Years,
Hmm.
and we're going to try and unpack what these poems are telling us.
And trying to understand how these kids see the absence of dragons. They've never known them to be present in their world.
Exactly. And we've got an excerpt from the Yorkshire Herald.
Ah, yes, with a quote from children's poet Laureate Eleanor Marsh.
Yes.
Uh,
She offers some valuable context. So in this deep dive, we are going to really try to delve into what these young voices are revealing about how they see and understand the absence of something. Well, something that used to be very real.
Mhm.
And it was documented. Dragons were part of our recent history.
Yeah, it really was a different world.
So let's dive right in and look at the first poem, The Last Light. It was by Mira Collins, and she was 9 years old when she wrote this.
Yep.
So go ahead and read it for us.
All right. Once I saw a fire bright, dancing gold against the night, wings that stretched, a shadow wide, a beating heart, a spark inside.
Now the stars are all I see, distant lamps above the sea. I wonder if they're out there still, sleeping deep beyond the hill.
Wow. There's a really striking contrast here between how Mira describes her memory of a dragon, like that's so vivid, fire bright, dancing gold, and then she shifts to describing the stars. And it's so much more distant and, well, kind of impersonal, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it really shows just how much she misses the dragons. It's like she's longing for something that used to be so real and present in her life.
Yeah. And it's really interesting when you consider Mira's own personal story. She wants to be an astronomer.
Hmm.
And and her grandfather actually claimed he saw a dragon back in 2027.
Really?
So you have to wonder, if maybe she's looking to the stars as a way to connect with what her grandfather saw.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's like she's searching for them in the heavens.
Yeah. And maybe that line about them sleeping deep beyond the hill, it's her way of holding on to that possibility that the dragons are still out there,
Hmm.
just, not here.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful way to think about it. And the fact that she wants to be an astronomer, it makes you think that maybe it's more than just a career choice for her. Maybe it's a way for her to continue searching for them.
It's like she's actively choosing to engage with that possibility.
Exactly.
It really is a remarkable poem. So much packed into those few lines. Okay, so moving on, let's take a look at the next poem. What If They Hear? This one's by Isaac Louis. He was 10 when he wrote this.
Okay, let's hear it.
What if they hear our songs? What if they hear our words?
Maybe far, maybe near, somewhere maybe they can hear.
Wow.
I love how simple this one is, and yet it's just so powerful.
Right. It's like he's going straight to the heart of it. This basic human need to connect, even when it seems impossible.
Yeah. And with the dragons being gone, it really makes you wonder if they can still hear us, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And knowing that Isaac is really into mythology and storytelling
Yeah.
will kind of add another layer to the poem, don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
He's probably grown up hearing all sorts of stories about hidden realms and creatures that disappear or reappear.
Right. I mean, it's a pretty common theme.
Yeah. So it's natural for him to apply that kind of thinking to the dragons.
Definitely. And remember, his mom talked about seeing dragon tracks.
Oh, right.
It just shows you that the dragons weren't just stories for them. They were real, and they left their mark. It's no wonder he's holding on to that hope that maybe they can still hear us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thought. All right, so let's move on to the next poem. This one is called The Footprints Are Gone.
Okay.
And this is by Amelia Carter. She was 8 when she wrote this.
8 years old. Wow.
I know. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I found a print, deep and wide, set in stone where dragons stride. I traced the edges, felt the shape, a frozen step, a vanished fate.
But wind and rain, year by year, took it piece by piece, I fear. Now I search, but all I see, dust and grass where prints should be.
Oh, that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the way she describes finding that footprint, you can really feel the sense of wonder.
Right, like she's touching a piece of the past.
Yeah, exactly. But then she talks about how the wind and rain have slowly erased it.
It's a powerful metaphor for how the memory of the dragons is fading.
Yeah. And I mean, Amelia's really into fossils and paleontology.
Oh, right. So she understands how things can be preserved over millions of years.
Exactly. But here she is watching something much more recent just disappear right before her eyes.
It's like the vastness of geological time is suddenly compressed into her own short lifespan.
And don't forget about her school trip.
Yeah, where they went to see the place where they thought dragons might have left markings.
Right. It just shows you how much she wants to hold on to that connection to the past.
Yeah. But in the end, all she's left with is dust and grass where Prince should be. It's a really poignant way to end the poem.
It really is. Okay, so what's next?
Okay. The next poem we have is called Sleeping Below, and this is by Dev Patel. He was 11 when he wrote this.
Okay.
They say the dragons ran away, fled into the night one day. But I think they burrowed deep, hiding where the earth can keep.
Maybe in the darkest caves, under oceans, under waves, they wait for us to understand, and not with cages in our hands.
Oh.
Dev's poem really takes a different approach, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like he's offering an alternative to the idea that the dragons are gone forever.
Right. Like maybe they're not gone, but just hiding,
Yeah.
waiting for the right time to come back.
Yeah. And knowing that his family owns a bookshop and he loves ancient legends, it makes sense that he would think this way.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's probably surrounded by stories of mythical creatures going into hiding and then returning when the world is ready.
Exactly. It's like
Mhm.
he's drawing on the power of those stories to make sense of what's happened to the dragons.
Yeah. And those last two lines are so interesting. They wait for us to understand and not with cages in our hands.
That's powerful.
It's like he's saying that maybe we were the reason they left, that we tried to control them and take away their freedom.
Yeah. It's a powerful message about our responsibility to treat all creatures with respect.
And it gives me hope, you know. Maybe there's a chance for us to coexist peacefully with the dragons in the future.
It's a beautiful thought. Okay, so we have one last poem to look at, a plea. And this is by Olivia Hayes, who was 10 years old when she wrote this.
Okay.
We took too much, we asked too fast, and so the flame is in the past.
But promise me, if they return, we'll watch, we'll learn, and not just burn, not just bind and not just take, but stand as equals in their wake. Wow.
I know. It's quite a statement, isn't it?
It really is. She's acknowledging that we made mistakes, that we pushed the dragons too far.
Yeah. And she's clearly passionate about conservation.
Right. She gets it. She understands that we need to change our ways if we want to live in harmony with nature.
And the way she describes the kind of relationship she wants with dragons, it's so mature. You know, not just burn, not just bind, not just take.
Yeah, she's not interested in controlling them. She wants to stand as equals.
It's a powerful message.
Yeah,
And it really makes you think about what kind of world we're creating for future generations.
definitely. So we also have that excerpt from the Yorkshire Herald, where children's poet laureate Eleanor Marsh says, let me get the quote here. Okay, so she says, "Dragons once captured the world's imagination, and nowhere is this more evident than in the poetry of our children. These poems represent more than nostalgia. They are a call, a whisper to the unseen. Dragons may not have returned, but their stories have never left us."
That's beautiful.
It really sums it all up perfectly. Even though the dragons are gone, their stories are still alive, especially for these kids who never got to experience them firsthand.
Yeah. These poems are more than just memories. They're a way for these children to process their absence and maybe even hope for their return.
Right. And I think it says a lot about us as humans, you know?
Yeah.
We need stories. We need to make sense of the world around us, even when it feels like the extraordinary has vanished.
So what can we take away from all of this?
Mhm.
What are the big insights that we can glean from these children's poems?
Well, I think the main thing is just how much these kids are still thinking about the dragons, even though they've been gone for a decade.
Yeah. They're not just forgetting about them. They're actively trying to understand what happened and what it means for the future.
Exactly. And they're doing it through their poetry.
Right. And there's a lot of hope in these poems, a belief that maybe someday the dragons will return.
Yeah. But there's also a sense of loss, a longing for something that's been taken away.
And a recognition that we, as humans, might have played a role in their disappearance.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important. It shows that these kids are thinking critically about our relationship with nature, and they're challenging us to do better.
Yeah. They're calling for a future where we can coexist peacefully with all creatures, dragons included.
I love that.
It's a powerful message. And it makes you wonder, what does it mean for a generation to grow up knowing that dragons were real, but they're not here anymore. How does that shape their view of the world? How does it influence their understanding of what's possible?
It's a really interesting question, and one that I think we need to keep exploring.
Absolutely. So I think that's a good place to wrap up. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have some really thought-provoking stuff.
Yeah. So for all of you listening out there, I want to leave you with this. These children's poems are a reminder that even in the face of absence, the power of imagination and hope can endure. And maybe, just maybe, those qualities are what we need to build a better future for ourselves and for all the creatures we share this planet with.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.